Welcome back. Today I've got a coffee maker that I mostly use for making tea, and it slowly percolates, and it creates more steam than it does percolated drink. So this is a Hamilton Beach, and I'm going to see why it is not putting the water through effectively through this hole here. From this reservoir has a press valve. When the pin in here presses up on it, that lets the water flow through, and it's not clogged. So it's not the reservoir. It has something to do with the chamber in here. It acts like it gets vapor lock or something, and it just it creates a bunch of steam, and the steam condenses on this thing and it drips all over, and it loses maybe 1 to 2 cups of the water that you put in here just to steam. And I've noticed if I lift this thing up and down a little bit while it's going, it temporarily percolates normal. So I don't know what's going on with it. So I'm going to see what we've got here. We've got a lot of Phillips screws on the bottom, and it's going to take some real deep, some long skinny ones. So that's going to require an actual, rather than this kind, it's going to take a regular screwdriver with a narrow shaft. So I'm going to grab a couple different ones. Yeah, so they're pretty tiny. Oh, I see. The tip of it, that's why it doesn't work too good. Well, the number 2 should work. I don't know why it wasn't working before. Yeah. Yeah. So what they've done is they've buried a screw below this foot pad. Yeah. Okay. There we have it. Wow. Well, there's just not much to it. So here's the heating element to keep the brew hot. And it looks like I see. So it uses, this is the heating element that does the percolating. That other end of it, this is just where the tank sits and lets the water in, but it goes into this tube, and then it goes into this heater element, and then it sends it as a tube going all the way up into a space here. There's a whole bunch more screws that hold this top section on. Now, since I'm already this far apart, I'll go ahead and remove those. Not sure yet why it's holding that. Oh boy, there's screws way down in the bottom of this, or I should say the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least. I don't know if you can see that. The little shiny specks are the screws. So now that's going to take like some long extensions to Milwaukee. Wow. I don't know if that's going to reach or not. Yeah. Kind of silly. Okay. How about now? Yeah. See? Look at all those screw points. Just a bunch of plastic. Okay, so you can see the shaft that comes up from the heating element, and then it just comes to the center of the distributor. This distributor has a few holes in it, and I'm not seeing anything standing out that's a problem. Oh, okay. That does come off. That's good. At least I can wash it. And this part doesn't look like it comes apart. Let's see what holds that riser in place. Okay. Just another screw. It really is quite simple. So there's the riser tube. And it's clear. Okay, Otis. He doesn't want your bone. It's actually in very good looking shape. So what I'm going to do is put some water in this, set it in its cradle, and see if water flows through here like it should. I'm going to see if I can rotate this. Yeah. So that's just an aluminum casting with a heating element and a thermal cutoff, which is, it will, if it runs dry, that tells it to stop percolating mode. When it senses that it runs out of hot water, or when it runs out of water, then it tells it it's out of water and it stops sending power to the heating element. This is the connection for the heating element, the blue wire. So that's enclosed in the upper section. You can see here, there's a red, the red wire is the other hot wire. It goes to the thermal switch, which then goes through a couple of diodes, and then it goes to the heating element. Not sure what the purpose the diodes serve. Usually that keeps current flowing in one direction, but it's AC. I'm not sure what that does, but I'm sure someone out there does. So I'm going to just put this back on, but pointing downward. And then I'm going to put some water in it and see what happens. So I'll be right back getting the water once in a while, and I've never descaled it. Before I put this in here, though, I'm going to get a bucket for it to dump into, assuming that it dumps out. It should. Okay, you can see there's the outlet right there. So I'm going to turn it right about there. And then when I drop this tank into the proper position, it should just start flowing easily. Well, imagine that. That's a pretty slow trickle. So when I'm lifting it up and down, not sure what the problem is, because, you know, that's a big hose and it's barely coming through. So I'm going to get my air compressor going and blow this out, see if that blows some junk out. All right, so I've got two kinds of, I hope you can hear me. I'll speak down into the speaker. This gun blows a lot of high volume. This one, not as much volume, but it has that nice rubber tip on it that creates a seal. So I'm probably going to use that one first. All right, let's see if we get anything out of this. I'm going to blow in both directions. Whoop, just blew it right off. So let's try that again. All right, let's try this again. See if we get any more water to come out of there. Oh, help if that isn't straight. I don't know. Well, that's any more than before. Helps clear out any deposits that are in there. I just don't see how that could be it. It doesn't have a problem with the heat. And it doesn't have a problem, you know, it's like it percolates too good. Like it's just making steam half the time rather than ejecting water up there. But I don't know. I mean, I don't see any other problem here. Everything looks pretty darn clean. I only use purified water in this thing anyway. I don't put tap water. So there's no reason for any buildup of minerals, which is the reason why you normally would clean out a heating element type of thing like this. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll heat up some a little bit of water with some of the ascorbic acid in it. and I'll figure out a way to close this off. I think I'll just pinch it off and let it sit for a little bit in there, and then flush it out. See if that does anything. So let me go get that, and I'll be back. Okay, I've got it's citric acid, 1 teaspoon in about a cup of water, hot water. What I'm going to do is pour some in there, let it flow in. Actually, what I can do is I can just turn this thing and let it flow the straight water out of it. Okay. And then to keep it from flowing out, I've got this little handy dandy Craftsman clamp. And that should keep that from coming out. Let's see here. Trying to show you guys. You can see this. Oh, it's still coming out a little bit. It's also got, I'm spilling it into this cavity here, which has drain holes. Interesting. That's good though, that it has a drain hole there. Okay, I'm showing it's in there. Well, my handy dandy clamp doesn't seem to be strong enough to hold it. And we'll let that sit. See if there's any liquid here. No more liquid there. I'll pour some more. You can see the water right here, and it's draining down to this point, and now it stopped. So that is for sure full. I'm gonna let that sit for a little while, and we'll come back, drain it out, and put it back together, see what it does. It's been about half an hour or so. Now I'm going to drain this out. Doesn't hold that much. Okay, now I'm going to run some straight water through it. Yeah, that might be a bit faster. So let's shoot some more air through it. Oliver's not going to like this. This tube is perfectly clean, so there's no reason to do anything to it. We'll put the rubber snorkel back on. Screw back in. Just starting it with this because it's magnetized. Now we'll let the water back in there. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it has filled it to capacity. So that should work. Hi, Oliver. Yeah, now he's all upset because I used that air. Oh, if you can see him here. Yes, the nasty air makes you scared. Silly boy. Okay. Okay, you can get down. So while I've got it here, I'm going to get something to clean this up. This thing sits right next to the stove, and the grease from the stove just clings to it, and regular soap will not take it off, but WD-40 takes it off in a jiff. It doesn't hurt plastic, so. It hides most of this nastiness. It's funny, I'll get this all apart, and this hinge, it doesn't come loose. You can either take, there's screws that hold this metal on to make it look pretty, but there's one screw right here. Hi, Otis. Now it's Otis's turn. Got screws here you take off, and that will come up, and then it'll release the hinge, but I don't see any need to. This can be cleaned in place. Oh, that's right. The compressor turned on, and now you're freaking out even more. Sorry, Oliver. Gosh, I can feel him shaking. He's leaning on my chair and shaking. I'm sorry, I don't know what made you so scared of that. He doesn't get this scared with fireworks. It really freaks him out. But it's pretty hard to have them in here when we work on stuff. I have to use the air compressor for things. So then I've got to send them back out. I know, Oliver. I know. It's okay. I know. We'll be going in a minute. So I believe there's everything we have that we need to do to connect this area together. So The first thing in this case is to put the top on. Okay, I know oh yeah, don't want to forget this, the water distributor. Okay, so that's back. Now we can put the top back on, all those screws from down within. There's these little bitty screws here, they're flat heads. And then there's these ones that are pan heads, and they're a little longer. Okay, the little flathead screws go right here. Hold that. The additional screws that hold the top on. And of course, they must not be magnetic. I'll give it a little wipe down. Don't worry, I will clean this again with soapy water. There we go. Okay, now for the pan head screws with my long extension. So that's got the top. The only thing it needs is the bottom piece put back on. I'm going to go ahead and clean that. So I'll be right back. Best thing I ever did was put a sink in the garage. Didn't have one when we moved in, but I had the washer and dryer right nearby. So I was able to tap into the drain line for the washing machine and the water supply. I've got hot and cold water there and everything. I don't know why they don't put them in normally. I mean, I guess not everybody does things in the garage. You guys, Otis, you goofus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. You got my attention. You too, Major? You too, Sasha? They want to go in. They want to go in. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Oops. Well, that didn't work out too well. Oh, I see. That's just a drain, not a screw hole. really short ones I don't know longer to go for. These are all sounds like this. So anyhow, they did one of the screws underneath the foot, and the rest, you can see the rest. Whoops, there I go again. That one's way down there. Yeah. I've got one more screw left. Where's it go? Got that deep one. To do this right, take them back out. I'm going to make this faster. At least for the ones this can reach. Yep, that's all I can reach. Only two. The other ones are too far down in there. There's the one that fell through. Wait a minute. Oh, I see it. One little tab on the far end over here. Yeah, easy to miss that one. Oh, so I'll put my contraption back together to get that to reach. There we go. Got it. All right, well, screws are all in place. Just got to drive them in. All right. Okay, so now it's just a matter of taking it inside and starting another batch and see how it does. Okay, we have it inside. It's loaded with tea bags. Everything's cleaned up. And the water reservoir is full of filtered water. So we just kick that on. And we wait. Okay, it's percolating. If you can hear it. Oh yeah, there it comes. Well, it already sounds better than it did. It sounded like it was running out of water constantly before, and a whole lot of steam would come around from up here and drip down. I think think we got it. All right, so we're maybe a third the way completely filled. Now it's doing what it was doing before as far as the current sound. See all the steam coming out of the top? But notice this time it's stopping and it's percolating more out. So what it's doing is it boils the water up down there, and the boiling, the vaporized water pushes the hot liquid up that tube and distributes it in, and then it boils it out, and the thermocouple in there senses that it's empty of water from shooting it up there. So it stops, it turns off that heater for just a moment, lets the water come into there again, and then it turns back on, and it percolates and bubbles it up to the top again, and it just keeps doing that, rather than the old-fashioned type of percolation pot that had a little cup at the bottom of the pot, and your little filler tube sat in that little hole, and it just constantly boiled as long as there was liquid in the pot and just kept recirculating. This obviously doesn't recirculate it, it just keeps pumping the water up from the reservoir and goes up, and just does it one time. And then at some point it shuts itself off after it runs out of water. So it seems to be working right. It still takes longer than I figured it would take, but at least it's not dripping water all over the place. So we'll see if I end up with a full pot this time. All right, that's good enough. Thanks if you watched this exciting video, and we'll see you on the next one.